Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome. We are expecting a couple of panelists to join. So we will be starting this event within a very short time. So please stay tuned.
Good morning, Manjari madam. Audio is clear from Dr. TV Narayana, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to all, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Good morning. How are you?
Manjari madam, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy World Pharmacist Day. Yeah.
Good morning. This is Manisha.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Sridhar.
Manisha, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Manisha.
Good morning and a very happy World Pharmacist Day to all of you and to everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Narayana, so far more than 125 people have used IPA template and they have sent us it on email and it's circulating in on Facebook. So good thing.
Because from last year onwards, there was a very good activity, WPD. Last year, almost more than 400 colleges organized. This time, it may be still more. So thanks Manisha, Dr. Manisha for sparing her time and participating in this webinar of World Pharmacist Day. I think continuous second year. Last year, it was the first event. She joined us.
Thank you, Dr. Narayana. That's such a warm welcome. Actually, now that I see each one of you so often, I feel I'm part of your family.
Great, thank you.
Welcome to the family.
It's always a pleasure to see you, and I also learn so much of the good work that you are doing. And I do hope that as pharmacists, we can bring more attention to the good work that is happening and all that is being done across the region, in our country, and across the world, of course. So I, in fact, thank you for remembering me and asking me to join you today for such an important event.
It is our honor also. And for your information, around more than 2 to 3 lakh pharmacists will be celebrating today. So throughout India and throughout each nook and corner of our country, it will be celebrated. And good activities are taking place by all the IPA state branches and local branches.
And this time it is the first time we have other associations participating on the SEARPharm forum platform.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
So we have support from the Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka and the Indonesian Pharmacists Association. We had to get some positive response from Thailand. We still yet to get it. Occasional speaker would participate. Then we have to get Nepal and Bangladesh into our fold.
Yeah. No, because of the pandemic, we could not meet those people. Otherwise, we both are having plans to go and meet them personally.
Yeah, sometimes when you meet them in person, then the ice is broken.
Yeah.
Otherwise, an email is a faceless one, and a name perhaps doesn't mean much. Because even in a FIP event last week or 10 days back, we wanted to get Nepal's participation. We couldn't get it.
Sir, shall we start?
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Vidyadhara, for making wonderful arrangements.
Sir, most welcome, sir. Very good morning to all.
Morning.
Dr. Raghav Kalyan.
We welcome Mahendra Patel also. I just see him there.
Yeah, welcome you, sir. Dr. Mahendra Patel, sir.
Welcome, Dr. Patel.
He was
From
there
UK.
briefly. He's there. He's muted.
And happy to see our iCare team also.
Good morning, everyone. We're wishing you all a very happy World Pharmacist Day. Good morning, TV
Good morning,
sir.
sir. Good morning, sir. Mahendra Patel, sir.
Good morning. How are you all?
Yeah,
Mahendra,
fine,
how are you?
We are all breathing and living and trying to keep safe and celebrating this World Pharmacy Day together, which is the highlight of this week. How are you?
Thank you for joining us, Mahendra.
Together you can start.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Raghav Kalyan.
So shall we start the proceedings, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
A very good morning, one and all. I wholeheartedly welcome all the members that are assembled on this platform as we pharmacists proudly celebrate our World Pharmacist Day. I see certain faces shining like bright sun. I see certain faces smiling wide like tulips. So we are all gathered here to resonate the pharmacist within us to this whole world, indicating that we are a great contribution to this healthcare. Without any doubt, there is no need to tell that healthcare plays a very important role in different parts of the globe, irrespective of its economy. But there is a definite need to highlight the role of a pharmacist in the healthcare. And we do it so every year by proudly celebrating September 25th as the World Pharmacist Day. The same thing we do this year on this webinar that is being organized by Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Education Division, Andhra Pradesh State Branch and Students Forum. Also with SEARPharm Forum, that is the Southeast Asian FIP WHO Forum of Pharmaceutical Associations. And we are being accompanied by Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, Ikatan Apotheker Indonesia, and also Chebrolu Hanumaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. So on behalf of this organizing team, I wholeheartedly welcome all the eminent personalities, the chief guest, the speakers, and all the participants to this wonderful, wonderful platform. And it is a great pleasure to be associated with everybody on this very auspicious day for the profession of pharmacy. Now, without any delay, let us go ahead and dive into this webinar. And before we do so, let us start the proceedings by lighting a lamp virtually.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभ धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Now I request Dr. V. Sindhu Vaishnavi to please offer a small prayer song.
हिमगिरितनये हे मलते अम्बईश्वरी श्रीललिते मामवा हिमगिरितनये हे मलते आशांकुशेषु दण्डकरे आशांकुशेषु दण्डकरे अम्ब परात्परे निज भक्त करे अम्ब परात्परे निज भक्त करे आशांबर हरे आशांबर हरिकेश विलासे आशांबर हरिकेश विलासे आनंद रूपे अमित प्रतापे आनंद रूपे अमित प्रतापे हिमगिरितनये हे मलते अम्बईश्वरी श्रीललिते मामवा हिमगिरितनये हे मलते.
Thank you, Dr. V. Sindhu Vaishnavi. That was a very good prayer song. And it is always our tradition to start the invocation by offering something to the Almighty. And without any delay, I would like to dive into this webinar because we have eminent personalities who have gathered here to celebrate this occasion with us. So we have the National President, Dr. T.V. Narayana, we have Dr. V. Vadlamudi sir, we have Dr. Mahendra Patel, we have the chief guest with us, Manisha Sridhar, and we have eminent speakers. So without any delay, let us start this webinar. And to do the outset, I would like to call upon Dr. R.L.C. Sasidhar to please introduce Dr. T.V. Narayana, National President, IPA. So please unmute yourself and then start, sir.
A very good morning to all. Indeed, I'm very happy to take this honor in introducing Dr. T.V. Narayana sir, National President, Indian Pharmaceutical Association and Director, Vikas Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. The T.V. Narayana sir has more than 27 years of experience in the field of pharmacy and has been instrumental in uplifting the profession. To share a few of his achievements, Dr. T.V. Narayana sir is a member of Board of Directors of Association of Schools of Pharmacy. He was General Secretary, Indian Pharmaceutical Congress Association, and T.V. Narayana sir is a member of Syllabus Committee and Pharmacy Ethics Committee for Pharmacy Council of India. He was also Honorable General Secretary of Indian Pharmaceutical Congress Association. Dr. T.V. Narayana sir has initiated the Indian Pharmaceutical Association Student Forum and created a largest network of Indian pharmacy students in India. And he is the man behind organizing many national level student congresses and 100+ workshops throughout the country for the benefit of pharmacy students. And T.V. Narayana sir also organized more than 50 quality improvement programs for the pharmacy teachers and more than 25 continuing education programs for the community and hospital pharmacists. And he was also a co-member of Indian Host Committee for FIP World Congress, which was held in the year 2011. the TV Narayana sir was conferred with many prestigious awards. To name a few, the sir was awarded with Indian Pharmaceutical Association Eminent Pharmacist Award, and IPA Fellowship Award, Shiksha Bhushan Award, Best Teacher Award, B.V. Patel Memorial Award, and many more. He's a very well-known person for his outstanding services and contributions to the field of pharmacy. So a warm welcome to you, sir, for this today's session. So with this brief note, now I request Dr. TV Narayana, sir, to kindly take over the platform and deliver his talk. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for the introduction, and happy Pharmacist Day to one and all participating in this webinar. Chief guest of today's webinar, Dr. Manisha Sridhar, WHO CRO, and Dr. Rao Adlamudi, Professional Secretary of SEARPharm Forum and President of Commonwealth Pharmacist Association, and Manjari Garat, Vice President of FIP and Vice President of IPA, and the speakers, Yulia Krishna from Indonesia, and Savandi Subhasinghe from Sri Lanka, Dr. Vidyadhara, who is the chairman of IPA Education Division, and his team. Happy Pharmacist Day. It is my pleasure and honor to participate in this World Pharmacist Day celebrations organized by SEARPharm Forum and IPA Education Division. And I am happy to see the Association of Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka and Itakan Apothecary Indonesia and IPA Students Forum coming out with country case studies on the theme of the World Pharmacist Day. Pharmacist always trusted for your health, Indian scenario, Indonesian scenario, and Sri Lankan scenario. And also I'm happy to note that there are many competitions also organized in essay writing and video competition and posters, e-posters.
I think there must be a problem. TV Narayana sir.
I think there is a network issue with Narayana sir.
Looks like, I mean, we
Yeah.
we have
We'll
an
make
end.
it.
Using his phone, he logged in.
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
He has to be unmuted.
Sir, please unmute, sir.
Unmute, Narayana, you are muted.
Sir, you are given access.
Yeah, I think I am audible now, I think.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry for the network problem. Sorry for the interruption.
Very good morning, Madam Yulia, Madam.
Yeah, I think now, now the power has come. Hello.
Yeah, audible, sir.
Yeah. Thanks. Sorry for the interruption. There is some network issue here, and I think for the information of Dr. Manisha, just I want to say a few words about the World Pharmacist Day. The World Pharmacist Day is initiated by Turkish pharmacist in the year 2009 at Istanbul during the FIP World Congress and approved it in a General Assembly of FIP. From that time onwards, it was declared to organize the World Pharmacist Day on 25th of September every year. The date was chosen because this was the date the FIP came into existence. The theme of this World Pharmacist Day, pharmacist always trusted for your health. The core message is being to emphasize that pharmacists are trusted source of knowledgeable professional with absolute importance of person-centered care. A new approach of care is called person-centered care, and transforming the patient needs into the services. The role of pharmacists in developing and underdeveloped countries need long way to gain trust that is essential to the healthcare. Trust is a central part of all human relationship and fundamental elements of social capital. There is significant association between trust in healthcare professionals and health outcomes to patients. ADR monitoring, AMR reporting, development of treatment protocols, pharmacovigilance, pharmacoeconomics, going to play a crucial role in gaining the trust of the pharmacist amongst the patients. Positive changes are happening in the pharmacy profession globally, but not at the rate pharmacists want or that needed to improve patient safety and optimize the outcomes. The pharmacist should it is contribute, not considered as the profession. That change has to come to gain the trust of the society and the patients. With this core message of the inaugural of this World Pharmacist Day celebrations of SEARPharm Forum and IPA and PSSL and Indonesian Pharmacist Association, my greetings to all the pharmacists. Happy World Pharmacist Day, and I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. Over to Vijadra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your introductory speech. And as we always say, it is always a great privilege to be associated with you, especially on occasions like this. And we once again thank you for taking part in this webinar. And let's move ahead. Now, I would like to request Dr. D. Sandeep to please introduce the next eminent personality, Dr. Rao Vadlamudi, who is the Professional Secretary of SEARPharm Forum.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Morning, everyone. I'm very much delightful to introduce one of the legendaries in the field of pharmacy, Dr. Rao V.S.V. Vadlamudi. So Dr. Rao is having more than 40 years of experience in working for various academic institutions, multinational, as well as Indian pharmaceutical companies. And he is an active member of the Indian Pharmaceutical Association and is the immediate past president of the association. And Dr. Rao is currently the president of Commonwealth Pharmacist Association and being elected for the second consecutive term. And he is also the professional secretary of SEARPharm Forum, the regional pharmaceutical forum of the FIP for Southeast Asia. Moving to the back, Dr. Rao Vadlamudi has completed his B.Pharm in 1973 and M.Pharm in 1976 from Andhra University, Vizag, and MSc and PhD in pharmacology and toxicology from University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And he also started his career as a reader at UDCT, Matunga, Mumbai. Until date, he held various positions in academia, such as reader in pharmacology, UDCT, professor of pharmacology, Bombay College of Pharmacy, and the first ever director of Bombay College of Pharmacy. He was the director of St. Peter's Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Warangal, and an adjunct professor at Acharya and B.M. Reddy College of Pharmacy, Bangalore. And his industry career began in 1990 as a group leader in Hoch, India, followed by head pharmacology, HMR, and Piramal Enterprises, vice president, discovery biology, Suven Life Sciences, and vice president, and principal fellow, Nectar Therapeutics India, Hyderabad. And he also acted as senior vice president, life sciences department at Vimta Labs, Hyderabad. And he was the editor of Indian Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences, the scientific publication of IPA Forum. And he also guided 26 MPharms, 2 PhDs, and published 25 papers and 20 abstracts, and delivered more than 150 invited lectures. And he received some of the awards like the Fellowship of the IPA in 2000, Dr. B.N. Ghosh Memorial Oration Award of the IPS in 2005, Professor M.L. Corona Memorial Lecture Award in 2009, the coveted Eminent Pharmacist Award of IPA in 2013, and the IPA President Special Oration Award in 2014, and the Acharya P.C. Ray Gold Medal Award of IPA Bengal Branch in November 2009. So with this brief introductory note, I heartfully request Dr. Rao V.S. Wadlamudi Garu to kindly take over the platform and to deliver his speech. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. Very good morning to you all on this auspicious day. I wish you all a very happy World Pharmacist Day. Dr. T.V. Narayana, President of Indian Pharmaceutical Association and President of SEARPharm Forum. Dr. Manisha Sridhar, who kindly accepted to be the chief guest today. She is the regional advisor of WHO CRO. And my colleague, Manjari Gharat. She is the chairperson of CPD, vice president of IPA and FIP. And Ms. Yulia Trishna, vice president of FIP Hospital Pharmacy section for SEAR region. And Dr. Sevandi Subasinghe, member of PSSL. And my very good friend and family member, I call him brother Mahendra Patel from UK. He is a very important pharmacist as well as a very important member of Royal Pharmaceutical Society. Dr. Vidyadhara, the vice president of IPA and young and dynamic person who organized this conference. The IPA-SF team, the support from the PSSL, that is Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, and IAI of Indonesia. I thank you all for organizing this wonderful webinar. And as a part of introduction, I just want to talk to you about a few things about the role of pharmacists. The theme today is pharmacy always trusted for your health. And the pharmacists all over the world are aware that the entire population is dependent on them and their services for their health and well-being. Nevertheless, we have to ensure that the other stakeholders, particularly the public, and the other stakeholders like policymakers, government, and various other people need to recognize that. And if they have not recognized that in certain countries in the world, still, it's not just their fault, it is also the fault of us, the pharmacists, to ensure that the services that we are offering to them is also recognized by them. And so we have to demonstrate our value through evidence-based care. The last couple of years, I would even say the last 2 years has been entirely different. The world has faced a pandemic, and nobody in our lifetime, none of us in our lifetimes has ever envisaged that such a situation would arise. When economy was restored, basically because several of the businesses started operating work from home, while probably 50% or 60% of the world is working from home, the healthcare professional teams, I want to recognize all the components of healthcare professional teams, of which pharmacist is a very integral part, key part, very important part. But these people have not worked from home. They have worked from their workspace. They have come in contact with the public, the patient. And pharmacists played a key role by being the frontline warriors and supported patients and patient carers even during pandemic. This is one important message that we have to pass on to the world. And World Pharmacist Day is the day on which we talk about it, we advertise, we bring to the awareness of people the value of pharmacy. In an ideal situation, a patient or a person who has questions about his health and welfare needs to go to a pharmacist to talk about, I have these symptoms and what I need to do. The pharmacist would do a few pathological or simple tests, diagnostic tests, maybe monitor his blood pressure or look at his blood sugar or run a few small tests and indicate that he has nothing wrong, but then he needs one or two simple OTC type of medications, or he can also indicate to them that he might have an infectious disease or he might have a chronic condition that is being increasing or aggravated. So he needs to look at a physician and go there and advise him to go to a physician. And after the patient gets a prescription, he comes back to the pharmacist for quality advice on how to take those medicines. And pharmacists do, advise patients on what lifestyle changes that they need to take they need to make in order to maintain their health and well-being. And this particular role not only we need to play, but we have to emphasize that we play this role. That is when pharmacy becomes always trusted for your health. I want to, add another dimension to this particular pharmacy. Let's look at pharmacy not just as a hospital pharmacy or community pharmacy. Let's look at it as an institution where quality pharmacists are produced. So there is education, there is institutions, pharmaceutical institutions, teachers who contribute day in and day out in creating very valuable human resources who would act as pharmacists. We would also, train them to be good pharmaceutical scientists and researchers who will go into manufacturing, research, discovery, development, manufacturing, quality control of very high quality medicines that are, ideal for treating many, many diseases. We would also monitor the supply chain of these medicines, ensure that the medicines are supplied, transported properly to reach the patient, and we act as regulators to govern the supply chain, to prevent infiltration by counterfeit medications, etc. And ultimately, when patients need them, pharmacists do give them under pharmaceutical care. So pharmacy as an institution does all these jobs, which are very, very essential for maintaining the normal health and well-being of public. We have to realize that, we have to recognize that health is the fundamental right of every individual. And pharmacist and an institution like pharmacy has a major role to play in maintaining that health and the fundamental right for the public. That's why pharmacy always is trusted for your health. This is what we have to emphasize with evidence to the public. That's the real meaning of the theme today. And let's all live up to that particular saying that we should always be trusted to your health. With these words, I once again thank you all, and I wish you all a wonderful, happy Pharmacist Day and a wonderful deliberations from the remaining speakers. Over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And as you truly said, I would just like to mention that point once again, because I loved that point that you said, that when the whole world, the remaining 60 to 70% of the people, when they're working from home, we are the ones who are actually working with the public. And I think that statement makes a lot of weight. That statement takes a lot of impact to all the viewers. And thank you so much. That was a very good point from you. And let us move ahead. Now I request a colleague of mine, V. Sindhu Vaishnavi, to please introduce the chief guest, Dr. Manisha Sridhar, who is WHO Regional Advisor of India.
Thank you, sir. I take the privilege of introducing the chief guest of today's webinar, Dr. Manisha Sridhar, who is currently working as Regional Advisor World Health Organization, Southeast Asia Regional Office, India. Dr. Manisha works on intellectual property rights, regulation, and trade for health and medical products. She has received her master's degree in intellectual property law, and she is certified mediator for intellectual property rights disputes from Franklin Pierce Law Center, United States. Her doctorate is from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. Coming to her professional experience, as a member of Indian Administrative Service, Dr. Manisha worked in different capacities in Government of India. She was the Principal Secretary in the State Government of Himachal Pradesh. She has assisted United Nations Industrial Development Organization on geographical indications for traditional products. Ma'am, we are very much delighted to have you with us on this World Pharmacist Day. Now I hand over the platform to you and request you to address the participants.
Thank you for this kind introduction. Will you permit me to share the screen? I have a PowerPoint which I thought would be of value to everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Pleasure.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So first of all, a very happy World Pharmacist Day, and I congratulate you for organizing this, and particularly on a Saturday. I think this really deserves a lot of credit because that shows how committed everyone is to working. And I thank Dr. Narayana, Dr. Rao, Dr. Manjari, Ms. Yulia, and Ms. Sevandi, and Dr. Vidyadhar for its kind introduction and also for the invitation to participate today. And I had mentioned just before we actually started formally, I'm grateful to you for having considered me to join you, because I now feel that I'm part of the Pharmacy and Pharmacists Association. I see you all so often. So I wish you all the very best as we move along. While I was looking at this World Pharmacy Day, and I was wondering what is it that I should share with you which would be of some value. And I thought that let me share with you the Decade for Health Workforce Strengthening that has just been placed in September. In the first week of September. We are on 25th of September. This has just been presented to the Regional Committee of SEARO. So as you know, the Southeast Asia Regional Office, our organization, has 11 countries in the region. So we have all our neighbors, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Myanmar, Nepal, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Thailand are also part of ASEAN along with Myanmar. And we have Timor-Leste also, which is part of our region, apart from, of course, India, which is the biggest country. So the regional committee meets every year and the ministers get together, and this document was presented in the first week of September. And I thought this would be of value to you because this document since 2016 is tracking 5 categories of health workers. And as you can see, pharmacists are also one of them. And for the last 3 years, we find, as we track this information, that the availability of health workers, including PHC workers per 10,000 of population, is the highest in Thailand. You can see that when it says other select PHC workers, they include more than just these 5 health workers, but this is the data that we can see. But we can also see that Maldives, DPR Korea, Nepal, India, there is a lot of information which is there on health workers. And health workers include all of these, the 5 professionals, doctors, nurses, midwives, dentists, and pharmacists. But what is interesting is the next slide. When you see here, we find that the pharmacists per 10,000 population are really doing well. And this is the data that we find that they have increased over the years. And I think this is also what Dr. Narayana and Dr. Rao mentioned, that the importance of the pharmacist is growing, and which is why the younger crowd and our youngsters are also attracted towards this profession, because they can see a future in this profession. And this shows in the data that is there. And when we see the number of pharmacists per 10,000 population, we find that it has increased across all the countries over the period, except Maldives. Maldives is too small as a country to be a standard. And what is important to see is that when we look at pharmacist graduates per 100,000 population, and these are the figures of 2018, look at where the countries are. And we find that Sri Lanka is at 0.7. That is based on their population and their requirements, but the numbers are very large. And in India, you can see it is 25.3, which shows that there is a push towards pharmacy. But of course, India data needs to be considered a little carefully, because it includes all qualifications, the diploma, bachelor's, master's, and doctors of pharmacy. So I thought that this would be of some interest to our participants today on World Pharmacy Day, to understand that where we are actually proceeding. And it is heartening to note that pharmacy as a profession is a sought after profession. And it is something that is growing over the period of time. And also because of the reasons that their duties have become very vast. I put up this slide because I thought this was very interesting, where the role of a pharmacist was legally defined. And this was upheld in the United States courts. And this is the citation of the court where we have below. And this is very important, because it covers most of what Dr. Narayana and Dr. Rao mentioned, but also goes beyond some of these traditional roles. So they say that this is what is now legally approved as the role of a pharmacist in the United States, or held by the law, which says interpretation and evaluation of prescription orders. Now that's a very vast, when you have to interpret and evaluate, it is a wide gamut that is given to the pharmacist. Then compounding, dispensing, labeling of drugs and devices pursuant to prescription orders. This is something the pharmacist can exercise their mind on. Then participation in drug selection according to state law. As you know, even in in India, which is a federal system, all the state drug regulators are by and large pharmacists. And so is the CDSU driven by pharmacists. That's a huge area of regulation where pharmacists play a very critical role. But apart from that, even in drug selection, when we have the different countries selecting drugs for different disease programs, this is where the pharmacists play a critical role, and particularly in terms of the state laws. So what will be the kind of drug which would be most suitable in a particular state and in a particular jurisdiction? This is an important role for the pharmacists. And then drug utilization reviews. All the drugs from the pharmacy are passing through our pharmacists' hands, and they can tell best what is the best drug utilization. This is very critical when we look at antimicrobial resistance, and people are looking at antimicrobials. And the problem is not as much, one part of the problem is what people are taking in terms of antimicrobials. But there is also part of the problem where people are not using them and they are just lying, or they are being thrown into the waste. And that itself has impact on the environment. And this is where for the AMR, which is a very big major issue. After COVID-19, people say that it is going to be the lack of antibiotics, which is going to be a major issue. And this is where pharmacists and pharmaceutical expertise that the pharmacists have can play a very, very critical role. And then the proper and safe storage of drugs and devices. This is entirely in the domain of the pharmacist. Nobody else knows it better. And these aspects are becoming very critical, as you would know, even in COVID-19, in the track and traceability issues. You know, in drug tracking, they are now looking at barcodes, they are looking at AI in terms of tracking. And it's very complicated. It is not so simple. And this is where the pharmacist's role is extremely critical, because they take it from the bigger vials, and then you have to convert even the COVID vaccine into a vial, which is which can then be injected. So that conversion, and what is the labeling requirement across, so that the person who's actually going to deliver the vaccine can understand it. This is where the pharmacist role is critical, because he can actually he can explain best to the health worker where the particular product is being delivered. And then the maintenance of proper records, that has been the traditional role with the pharmacist. Then consultation with patients and other healthcare practitioners about the safe and effective use of drugs and devices. This is something that Dr. Rao and also Dr. Narayana had mentioned in their presentation, where they said that there's a dialogue with the patients, with the pharmacist can hold, which is often not there with the doctor, because a person goes to the pharmacist more frequently than he does go to a doctor. And this is where the role of the pharmacist and the approach and the ability to be able to explain in the patient's own language is so very critical for health delivery. And then they talk about the offering and performing of those acts, services, operations, or transactions necessary in the conduct, operation, management, and control of a pharmacy. So you can see how wide the bandwidth is in terms of established law. And it is up to the pharmacist and the pharmacy profession to take this forward and actually appropriate what is there in the domain which belongs to them, and to be able to work and take the health agenda forward. In this context, I thought that, we had the primary healthcare, Alma Ata, which was celebrated in 2018. This was after 40 years, and there was a big celebration that took place in Astana in Kazakhstan. And they really reiterated many of the principles of primary healthcare, which were already espoused earlier in 1978. And it is interesting to see that in both those declarations, how important the role of the pharmacist is. And in this, when we see, they have mentioned that the pharmacist has a major role in all healthcare services. This is what you are all well aware, better than I am, and how deeply you are involved in all healthcare services. And any services that the healthcare provider renders to a patient in the ordinary course of healthcare provider's profession. So this is where it has been identified. And across the board, whether it is patients' organizations, government agencies, everybody recognizes the role the pharmacist plays in providing good healthcare. And it is critical for the implementation of many of these collaborative treatment programs, particularly where more than one disease is what a patient suffers from. That's where the role of the pharmacist becomes very critical, because that is where they can facilitate counseling and be able to actually tell what is the critical point at which the patient really needs to look at and visit a professional, a doctor or a specialist. And this is because pharmacist is the first line of contact. That is where this becomes very critical. And then for advanced practice pharmacists, it is also very critical because they reduce the need for chronic patients to visit a physician. Once a medicine has to be taken periodically over a period of time, the pharmacist's role becomes even more important than it would be for a first-time patient, because this is where the pharmacist knows the history of the patient who is coming to visit him every time in the collection of the medicines. And it can enhance patient care and provide the optimum, the kind of quality care that is needed. And this is very critical in the whole of primary healthcare agenda. We talk about universal health coverage, and we talk about the sustainable development goals. And goal 3 is expected to come to fruition in 2030. I don't know, with COVID being such a major taking things back in terms of years, it will probably be extended. The goals will take longer to achieve, but that much more is critical, the role of the pharmacy and the pharmacist to make sure that primary healthcare gets delivered, because otherwise we will never reach the universal health coverage goals. It eliminates the needs for patient to take primary care appointments for simple ailments. I think this is what Dr. Rao mentioned in great detail, that, for simple ailments, it is the pharmacy and the pharmacist can be the first line of contact and also advice. And expertise extends to implication of interaction between multiple drugs. Very often patients are diabetic, but they're also taking, say, in COVID-19, certain prescription drugs. And when these drugs are interacting in the human system, it is the pharmacist who can tell best as to what are the drug delivery systems and what is actually happening, and can convey in the best way so that the patient can get expert care. So when we look at all this, the critical factor is for risk management, a pharmacist is the first point of contact. And this is something the role of the pharmacist can expand and develop protocols so that what kind of risk management should pharmacy and pharmacists develop. This will be very important so that the pharmacist could alert the physician about the dosage and any contraindications which are related to any prescription drugs that the person may be taking. So finally, I thought that you would find this useful. In terms of COVID-19, we were talking about the role of the pharmacy professionals in terms of vaccine rollout, cold chain, and logistics. I have mentioned some of these. I don't have the time to mention to you the great work which is needed in terms of traceability and barcoding and cloud chain and AI. It is a very critical factor. And I urge you as pharmacists to really examine this, because this is where the role of the pharmacist is more important than that of a doctor. But this has proven to be a major challenge in terms of vaccine rollout. Also, even in terms of the language, what language must be there on the vial when it is at the delivery, at the point of delivery, and that is understood by the person. So these are many issues which we need to, and it is also related to the trademark requirements and goes back to the manufacturing site where the manufacturer needs to put in certain requirements. In this context, they're also looking at completely e-labeling. In the United States, they started e-labeling in 2014, but it has not transferred into established law, primarily because of the physician's reluctance to accept e-labeling. But I think COVID-19 may change things, and this is some new technologies where pharmacists could play a critical role. And then contribute to meticulous planning for shipment, storage, stock management. I'm talking in the context of vaccine delivery, because this is something we find an issue when we are handling the movement of COVID vaccines through the ACT Accelerator and the COVAX system that has been established in WHO for movement of vaccine across all countries. And waste management. Waste management is very critical, even in terms of environment factors. And this is where hospital waste and the waste produced by patients, even in terms of household waste related to pharmaceutical products, is important, because there is an issue for the environment, and this needs to be dealt with. I mentioned antimicrobial resistance earlier, the AMR. But in terms of the use of insecticides and the use of insecticides in agriculture, most of our discussion when we look at pharmacists, we talk about human health. And we often forget that there is a very large animal population which is also using medicines. And pharmacists are actually delivering those medicines. And also the use of insecticides in agriculture. So these are all areas where the chemical composition of products is very critical, and where your expertise as a pharmacist, because you know how that product will react in the human system, that is so critical. And I think we need to expand the horizon of all the youngsters who are coming into the pharmacy profession to look at it beyond human health and look at all the environment and other considerations which are very important. And that with the climate change happening, environment is a very, very major aspect, and it is going to be the future of many decisions. And this is where, if the pharmacists and the pharmacy profession can come up with good plans on how they can contribute in the aspect of environment, it will be very critical to move forward. And I do want to mention about public health pesticide registration and management practices. This is something which is recognized even in the WHO documents. So this is something that you would like to consider as we move forward. And then I have mentioned again that we talk about shipment, storage, stock management at the point at which it is taking place. But I think this is also an area where the pharmacists can play a great role in terms of the planning processes and help the policymakers to be able to take good decisions as they move forward. So with these words, I thank you for inviting me to be part of you on this World Pharmacist Day. I wish you lots of luck. And I think I have always mentioned this between Dr. Narayana and Dr. Rao and Manjari and also Chinta from Sri Lanka, whenever we discuss that I think pharmacists need to look at themselves beyond trying to do what others can do. There is so much special knowledge and information that is there with the pharmacists. So we need to carve out the role of the pharmacist with more detail and to be able to do absolute justice to the knowledge that you gain over the period of time, and also to get the best out of the big professional people that we have for attaining public health goals nationally and internationally. So with these words, thank you. Over.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your, first of all, on behalf of the organizing committee, I wholeheartedly appreciate your presence, because it is a great privilege to be associated with you, especially on this occasion. And I should also thank you for really bringing a new insight to the responsibilities of pharmacists, because I personally like the idea of this pesticide registry that you have just mentioned. I think that is more than, that is increasing the horizon of the field of pharmacy and the pharmacists as we contribute more towards the healthcare, and we increase that horizon beyond the healthcare into the environment also. So I wholeheartedly thank you for bringing in a lot of concepts to us. Thank you so much for your participation. And as we all know, we have 3 speakers for today's webinar, and we will go ahead with one of them. So initially, I request Ms. Pregna Yella to please introduce the next speaker, Dr. Manjari Garath, the chairperson of Community Pharmacy Division, Indian Pharmaceutical Association.
Thank you, Raghav Kalyan sir. Good afternoon to everyone. I feel it as a great honor to introduce a very dynamic woman in pharma profession and inspiration to many people through her services in pharma field. And she is none other than Mrs. Manjari Sandeep Garath ma'am. And currently she is working as in charge principal for KM Kundani Pharmacy Polytechnic, Ulasnagar, Maharashtra. And now she serves as Vice President of Indian Pharmaceutical Association and Chairperson of IPA Community Pharmacy Division, Vice President for International Pharmaceutical Federation, FIP, and also Executive Committee Member, SEARPharm Forum of FIP and WHO. She is a community, she had done very activities in community pharmacy and consumer medicine education, and these are the main areas of focus of Manjari ma'am. And she advocates for larger role of practicing pharmacists in healthcare. She is instrumental in establishing a public-private partnership engaging community pharmacists in TB dots. Ma'am leads IPA's Responsible Use of Medicines campaign, CARO, and she involved in professional development of pharmacists through training and projects. She works with academia, pharmacy councils, chemist associations, consumer organizations, NGOs, and IPA branches all across the country. And she wrote regular pharma columnist in regional newspapers and has a book, Aushad Ban, to her credit, which is on medicine awareness. And she uses media to create public awareness on medicine awareness and role of pharmacists. Ma'am involves pharmacy students in public health activities and works to prepare students for social aims of the profession. Along with all these, she is the recipient of 2 global awards. One is Fellow of International Pharmaceutical Federation, FIP, in year 2016, and Ishidate Award of Federation of Asian Pharmaceutical Associations, that is FAPA, in year 2018, in recognition of her services to the community pharmacy and pharmacy profession. And the most important thing is, she is the first Indian woman pharmacy professional to receive any of these awards. And she is also the recipient of Fellowship of IPA and several other awards from social and professional organizations in the country. And in recent days, she is felicitated as Best Professional from Professional Association at the hands of Union Health Minister for her contribution to TB control. Apart from all these, Manjari ma'am traveled to more than 25 countries for professional work as invited speaker, panelist, trainer, and as paper presenter. And with this brief introduction, I request Manjari ma'am to please take over the session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pragnya. Thanks for this warm introduction. And thank you to all the organizers for this kind invitation, a very well organized program. And looking at the time, I just want to say that I'm very, very happy to be in the company of my colleagues, my seniors, my teachers, my mentors, and WHO colleagues like Dr. Manisha. So, and thanks, Dr. Manisha, for elaborating on the role of pharmacist. And it is so heartening to see that you are expanding the scope of our work, and very, very grateful to you and very happy and inspired by your speech. Thank you very much for the same. I'll just start sharing my slides. And before I start, I just want to say that I want to salute all the pharmacists around the globe for their wonderful work, and they are the invisible hope and hands during this pandemic. So salute to all the pharmacists and tribute to those pharmacists who lost their lives, or the pharmacy staff who lost their lives, unfortunately, during this pandemic. So considering that we have also Dr. Yulia and one more speaker after me, I will try to be very brief. So today is the World Pharmacist Day. Everybody has the right background as told by Dr. Narayana and then elaborated by Dr. Rao. So outline of my presentation quickly. I'll be speaking more so from the community pharmacy perspective. And so what community pharmacy is, its unique position in the healthcare system, how the expanding role and scope of pharmacy practices worldwide. There are different surveys and public opinion polls about the pharmacists. So brief about that. Few real life examples like stories about the pharmacist-patient trust relationships and how the pharmacist can be key driver of the community healthcare. Now, actually, I need not go into the details because Dr. Manisha has very well said how the pharmacists are the first point of contact. And so I can just say pharmacies are in the heart of the community, open for long hours. There is very friendly trust relationship shared between the pharmacist and the community. Sometimes the community may not know who is the pharmacist, but the person behind the counter is always trusted by the community, and that has been served, that has been indicated by several surveys also. And pharmacists are in a unique position because they are the first point of contact. Yes, of course, for anyone with symptoms is going to go to the pharmacy than going to the doctor. But they are also a last point of contact, interestingly, because when the patient goes to the doctor, before going home, he's at the pharmacy to receive the medicines. And so pharmacists are in such a strategic position to influence the patient behavior. That makes this a very unique setting. And there is no need of appointment for the patient to come and talk to the pharmacist. And right now, at least, it is totally free consultation. That also is important. Worldwide, when you see the pharmacist scope of practice has already expanded so much, and the pharmacists have gone much beyond dispensing, much beyond medicine selling, and they're giving services like product focused services. That is the sale of medicine is, of course, the central core job. But more than that, they are working on health promotion, de-addiction services, vaccination services, medicine management, and so on. So this slide really gives us a global overview of how pharmacists are giving variety of patient care services. And so it is not just medicines, but it's medicines and much more through the community pharmacies globally. And no wonder, because of that, the people, whenever have been public opinion polls, have given their opinions in favor of pharmacists, and the pharmacists have been always found to be the most trusted professionals when all different professionals like teachers, doctors, nurses, politicians, bankers, etc. have been surveyed. Have been compared. And the pharmacists have always stayed within first 5 or within first 3. Only nurses compete with the pharmacists, and nurses top the opinion polls at times. But Gallup polls for several years in countries like United States, Canada, they have shown that the pharmacist honesty and integrity has been most valued, and the trust is the central core part of it. Even the Canadian pharmacists, there's several surveys have shown this, and we need not go into details. But in India also, some surveys have been carried out regarding the perception of the consumers, about the pharmacists. So one of the survey by Delhi Pharmaceutical Trust maybe 10 years ago has concluded, has shown us the same thing, that the people, community trust pharmacists a lot. I told you that I'll be giving you some stories. I have many stories to tell, but I will just cut down on these stories. And one of the quick story I can tell you is how there is a trust relationship. And because of that trust that consumer or the patient places on the pharmacist, how pharmacists are contributing to bring the change in the lives of the patient. Now, this pharmacist, Mr. Sagar Kulkarni in Kalyan, Maharashtra, has been a part of our DOTS TB pharmacist project for years. A patient was coming with his small child to the pharmacy, and the child, a tiny tot, was not feeling well for many weeks, in spite of going to different specialists and pediatricians. But then the treatment that he received, the child received, was not proper. Maybe the choice of doctors was not good. we don't know anything. But the pharmacist told him that there is need, actually looking at the symptoms of the child, to undergo TB, the investigations for tuberculosis. And he directed the patient's, the child's father, to a nearby government health facility. And then in the series of investigations, the child was found to be TB positive. And then ultimately the treatment started. The treatment box itself came to the pharmacy, and this pharmacist treated that tiny tot for 6 months or 8 months. And then that's what is. So there are many stories, as I said, like this. Another story quickly, in a rural part of state of Maharashtra, a patient comes in the morning in the pharmacy, complaining about the headache, complaining about the chest pain, shoulder pain, etc. Ask for a painkiller. Now, a very simple, quick way for the pharmacist would be to dispense some OTC or whatever painkillers to the patient, and the patient goes home. But this pharmacist did not do that. He told patient not to panic, sit for a while, ask for the symptoms. After listening to the symptoms, he thought that he should once check the blood pressure of the patient. He asked the patient to come in. Patient came inside the pharmacy. He gave the stool to sit, and then the blood pressure was checked. And then the blood pressure was found to be very high. Pharmacist asked the patient, but patient had never undergone the BP check or annual medical checkup. And so the pharmacist told him, did not frighten him, but told him to go to a nearby district hospital and then for the further diagnosis and investigations. Ultimately, the patient was found to be hypertensive. He came back to the pharmacy, thanking the pharmacist and taking the antihypertensive treatment from the pharmacist. So spending little more time than just, sale of medicine could result into so much of the outcome. So another story in Mumbai, Mulund, this pharmacist had put this holding just outside his pharmacy, and then the patient walked in asking, "Ki kya free hai aapke paas? Kaise free medicines mil raha hai?" And that patient was actually TB patient and had just started taking treatment from the private sector. This pharmacist talked to the patient, then ultimately also talked to the doctor and put him on the DOT treatment from the government, because this patient was a rickshaw driver, could have easily, stopped the treatment because of the lack of money. So there have been so many such stories which inspire us and which again further confirm that pharmacists can do so much for the community, and they have potential and they have willingness. If properly trained, they can do wonders. So also pharmacists have been, some, not all, but pharmacists have been doing the diabetes check, blood pressure check in the pharmacies for screening purpose, and not the diagnosis purpose, but screening and referral. So the trust becomes, so the trust barometers have always shown that there is a lot of trust placed by the community on the pharmacists. In a very recent survey conducted by the organization Samvita with Cipla Pharmaceuticals, it said the future of pharmacies is the name of the report. More than 50% of the pharmacists surveyed said that the number of customers seeking medical guidance has increased during COVID. And this increase is phenomenal and expected. And we are in the age of Google doctors, internet doctors, infodemics, WhatsApp universities. So pharmacists have been, in fact, there is much more expectation now from the pharmacists to provide the credible, to work as a credible information source. And so going forward, if we just fast forward the time, then we can think of pharmacies as pharmacies becoming the healthy living centers for the community, doing much more than the dispensing, providing high-level quality pharmaceutical lifestyle as well as community health leadership, can offer a wide range of professional pharmaceutical services in addition to dispensing, as we have said, offer medicine management services, giving the patients the opportunity to have tailored health plans and be integrated. This I feel from Indian perspective or Southeast Asian perspective, very important. Be integrated into the wider primary healthcare team and be more specialized with more of training, continuing pharmacy education program, as well as changing the curriculum, which is the basic foundation for the pharmacy profession, and be widely available through innovative IT solution. Emphasizing this because as COVID has accelerated the digital revolution, now the pharmacists have to learn about it, and they can use this for more of patient centric services, which we have been talking about, as well as for improving business outcomes. So this is going to be the future. The digital future is here for the pharmacy, for every one of us, and the pharmacies are not an exception. So what I feel is let's work together to further develop pharmacist's role. And as Dr. Manisha said, let's carve the role of the pharmacist. And her vision is much wider than what we have. I felt that after listening to her. And so really let's sit together and make a roadmap for the pharmacy profession in India, in Southeast Asian region. FIP will be always supportive for any guidance, any mentorship. We need to leverage on, we need to utilize the trust relationship between the pharmacist and the society for the health promotion, for the disease prevention and management, much more, especially in the areas like non-communicable diseases, which is like increasing as a pandemic in our country. Also antimicrobial resistance, as Dr. Manisha rightly said, rampant self-medication, addiction, vaccination. There are so many areas where we can define the role of pharmacists, and then the policies, education have to fall in line so that the pharmacists are well equipped and are in the right ecosystem to deliver these type of services. So we need to try to reduce the information asymmetry which exists in the community. People just don't know how important it is to check the BP, to check the sugar regularly, to go for screening, annual medical checkups. So much is there. And also vaccine hesitancy. So pharmacists can be those rays of hope for the community health. So potential of pharmacists as a key driver of community healthcare in the country has to be worked on. So the FIP's vision is, and that's what we will all work to realize it, a world where everyone benefits from access to safe and effective medicines and pharmaceutical care. So thank you again for this kind invitation and the patient listening. And thank you all the pharmacists across the world, everywhere. And thanks again. So that's it. And that's the message I wanted to give. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your message. And I absolutely agree with you that whenever we have to carve our way into the healthcare sector, it has to be with the proper professional guidelines. And I really hope that we will definitely make a very good impact as a primary healthcare team. Thank you once again. And we will move ahead for the next speaker. Now I request Dr. R. Haribabu to please introduce the next speaker, Ms. Yulia Trishna, Vice President, FIP HPS, SEARPharm.
Good morning. It's my great honor to introduce the speaker of next session, Ms. Yulia. She received bachelor's in pharmacy from University of Indonesia in 1991 and master's in clinical pharmacy from University of Science, Malaysia in 1995. She was trained in clinical pharmacy in United States and Australia. She was awarded with a fellowship by International Society of Quality in Healthcare and Medication Safety Specialist Certificate. She was pioneer in promoting clinical pharmacy practice in Indonesia and accreditation for hospitals throughout the Indonesia. Her professional achievements are Chair for Division of Education and Research, Indonesian Hospital Pharmacy Association, Associate Editor Compendium of Indonesian Medicines, EC Member Hospital Pharmacy Division, Indonesian Hospital Association, Preceptors for Clerkships in University of Indonesia, UGM and Samford University, Alabama, United States. She received Best Poster in 9th Pan Pacific Conference in Singapore, International Advisory for the 3rd Clinical Pharmacy and Therapeutic Textbook, and recently she was appointed as the Vice President of FIP Hospital Pharmacy Section in the year September 2020. With this brief note, now I request Ms. Yulia to kindly take over the platform and delve with the session.
Thank you very much, Dr. Haribabu, for your kind introduction. Dear colleagues, good afternoon, already afternoon. Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, the Indian Pharmaceutical Association, collaboration with the Southeast Asia FIP WHO Forum of Pharmaceutical Association, Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, Ikatan Apoteker Indonesia, and Shebrolu Hanumaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And I would also to thank other previous speakers, distinguished speakers who already presented a nice presentation and very important to progress our profession, to promote our profession. I'm very grateful for being given the opportunity to talk to you today. We're celebrating World Pharmacist Day with the theme for this year is Pharmacy, Always Trusted for Your Health. Looking at the agenda, I will present you from the Indonesian perspective how a hospital pharmacist can be trusted healthcare professional for patients by providing comprehensive pharmaceutical service, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. May I share my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see my slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is my topic, special for, about hospital pharmacy. Hospital pharmacy, we know has major impact. It's important department in hospital. Hospital pharmacy has major impact in quality, on patient safety, and cost in healthcare system in a hospital. In Indonesia, we have a hospital pharmacy practice standard issued by the Ministry of Health. We are required to provide comprehensive pharmaceutical services, meaning that we have to do pharmacy management or known as indirect patient care activities. And also we have to provide clinical pharmacy activities or known as direct patient care. In Indonesia, hospitals must be accredited, and in the accreditation standard, there is a special chapter that requires good pharmaceutical services and medication use process. If we see patient journey during their hospitalization, starting for patient assessment, then the clinician come up with a diagnosis, and the doctor prescribe or if the patient needs a pharmacological therapy, then the doctor give medication order or prescription. The prescription are sent to the pharmacy to be dispensed. And then once dispensed, the medication are sent to the ward, so the nurse can administer the medication to the patient. And we as a healthcare team member, pharmacists work together with doctors and nurses, do monitoring, drug therapy monitoring, and we follow up the patient throughout the hospitalization. By providing a comprehensive pharmaceutical practice, meaning that we are not only managing or doing non-clinical service like selection, procurement, storage, and distribution, but also we provide clinical pharmacy. We provide clinical pharmacy before drug dispense and after drugs dispense. Before the drug are dispensed, we do medication history taking, medication reconciliation, doing ward round, and prescription review. This is a must for us. And after the medication administered, we do drug therapy monitoring together with other healthcare team member and provide drug information. And the important is to provide patient education. We do also aseptic dispensing service, provide AFib admixture, and also cytotoxic and hazardous drug reconstitution and parenteral nutrition. We still we are struggling with the availability of the facility to do septic dispensing service with the good standard of practice. Some hospitals also do in-house production with the criteria product unavailable in the market, product with special formulation, and medication which is unstable for long periods of time, and also medication for research purpose. And maybe some of you already know about Basel statement. However, for those of you who are not familiar with the Basel statement, I'm happy to tell you that FIP Hospital Pharmacy Section in Basel, Switzerland in 2008 agreed upon 75 statements, and 6 years later in Bangkok in 2014, the statement were revised to 65 statements, and the consensus covers 6 areas, include procurement, influences on prescribing, preparation and delivery, administration, monitoring of medicine use, and human resources training and development. And plus one set of overarching statement, which is general statement covering all area, the 6 area. And the goals and objective of the statement is our responsible use of medicine for the sake of the patient interest. We talk about hospital pharmacy function. There are 2 main functions of the hospital pharmacy. First is to ensure medication availability, and the second one is to control medication use. So we need to do both of this function. You can see from this slide, if we compare Basel statement and our Indonesian hospital accreditation standard, there is a high degree alignment between the two. We can see I presented one article at the ISQA meeting. I did a mini review, the alignment between the International Pharmaceutical Federation Basel Statement and the National Standard of Hospital Accreditation, and I found the high degree alignment, almost 90% of the revised FIB Basel Statement were aligned with the SNARS, our National Hospital Accreditation Standards. And some of a statement not aligned were related to the involvement of pharmacists in hospital pharmacy research, collaborative prescribing, and medication administration that we need to improve. When we revise the standard for our accreditation, I think we need to include these our activities. I did another review based on the survey results. I found the implementation of the hospital Indonesia in providing comprehensive pharmaceutical services. I found you can see the score. If the score 8 above, meaning that the hospital provide a good implementation. But we can see from this chart, only procurement meet the criteria or meet the standard. The other activities, we still need improvement in order to fulfill or meet the standard. Regarding the implementation of clinical pharmacy, also we can find from this chart, we do already good in medication history taking, but we still need improvement for other clinical pharmacy activity, like patient education and also medication reconciliation. I will focus on COVID-19 pandemic, and I try to identify medication safety issue during COVID-19 pandemic. We find drug shortages. We have issue on drug donation about the quality, efficacy, and safety profile in question, and risk of COVID-19 transmission during medication use process. And because we don't have standard medication for COVID-19, so we have medication substitution. So we need to aware of lookalike, sound-alike, and the difference of regimen, dispensing, and administration monitoring. If you compare the drug with the standard indication, because the difference regimen. And also we have hectic environment during the pandemic, increased workload, change procedure, and because we lack of workforce, task shifting we cannot avoid. So in some hospital, we found that the volunteer or the workforce work without adequate orientation and training. And also we found the decrease in patient adherence. So maybe in the next slides, I try to elaborate the problem. And also vaccine related errors we found. Speaking about drug shortages, even though we know drug shortages or medical devices shortages not only happen during pandemic, but during the pandemic, the drug shortages become prominent. So this pose risk to patient safety because there is cancellation or delayed treatment. So and we need to substitute the standard drug to the substitution, which is maybe less effective or worse ADRs. So we need regimen modification and policy monitoring. And also we should be aware of counterfeit and substandard medicine. Actually, our government in Indonesia has facilitated the procurement. So the bureaucracy and the procedure of procurement already be shortened, and the time of process also be shortened. Regarding drug donation and PPE, we try to follow the regulation or the guideline from WHO to prevent unusable donated medication and medical devices, and also preventing medication error due to unfamiliar medication and medical device. We also have risk of transmission, infection transmission during medication use process. So we try to stop transmission by avoiding using medication brought in by the patient, wearing appropriate PPA with high quality PPA, and disinfection of surface regularly. And also we practice telepharmacy to the patient. As I mentioned, that we have risk of medication error because of the new drug, because the substitution drug during medication use process, prescribing, voice of dispensing, administration, and monitoring, because of the difference in dosage form, dosing, interval dosing, and look-alike, sound-alike. Every step of the medication use process, we have similar problem that have a risk on medication error. And about task shifting, it can be a risk because untrained workforce or non-competent workforce can practice unsafe medication practice and committed with medication error during prescribing, dispensing, administration, or monitoring. I have data from Joint Commission that the root causes of medication error mostly due to lack of orientation and training, and also lack of communication between healthcare professionals. The last problem related to the medication safety is decrease in patient adherence, because a patient afraid to come to the hospital, so they're not seeing doctor for fear of coming to the hospital, so medication run out, so their disease become uncontrolled. And medication, some medication are not available, and they are not unwilling. They are not willingness, have no willingness to use substitution or alternative medication due to unfamiliarity of efficacy and safety profile. And we also find vaccine-related errors, in during dilution, storage issue, because some type of vaccine need to be stored in minus temperature, and look-alike, sound-alike with other vaccine, administration errors, waste of vaccine, and errors in scheduling second dose for the patient. I think that's my last slide. Again, I wish all of us happy World Pharmacist Day. Be a trusted hospital pharmacy for our patient. Thank you for the organizer and all of you. Back to the moderator.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your speech. And that really had a very good impact on us, because we get to know about the perspective of the practice at Indonesia there, and the good pharmacy practices that you spoke about. That was really new to us, and it was a very good learning experience. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
And we'll move ahead to the next speaker. We have another speaker, Dr. Sevandi Subasinghe, who is the member of Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka. Now I request Dr. N. Bhargav Kumar to please introduce her to the audience.
Good afternoon, one and all. It is my immense pleasure to introduce Dr. H.W.A. Sevandi Subasinghe, member and also a member of Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, today on this platform. Dr. Subsingha has done her Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Pharmacy Practice in the year 2020. And currently, she is working as a Grade 2 Senior Lecturer at the Department of Pharmacy, Faculty of Allied Sciences, University of Ruhuna in Gay. She held various positions like Academic Career Advisor, Secretary of the Ethics Review Committee, and Student Counselor, etc. in her entire career. She also acted as a faculty representative to the University Ethics Committee during the year 2020-21 and faculty representative for Institutional Review Chapter Committee in the year 2019, and also as a faculty representative to Senate from the year 2019 to 2021. And currently, she is acting as a unit coordinator for various academic programs like hospital pharmacy, clinical pharmacy, and pharmacotherapeutics. She has published about 30 research papers in various national and international journals. And she also has participated in various continuous professional development programs like a workshop on the good clinical practices, mental health first aid course, and then a training of trainers workshop on clinical pharmacy and pharmacotherapeutics. And with this, a brief introduction, I hand over the platform to Dr. Subsingha. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kumar. Can I share my presentation? Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And first of all, I would like to wish you all a happy World Pharmacist Day. It's really a privilege for me to address this gathering in celebrating World Pharmacist Day. And before starting my speech, I would like to thank all the organizers and the speakers, and especially for Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka for giving me this opportunity to deliver this talk. In my speech, I will focus pharmacists' role basically in flow of pharmaceuticals across the country, and involvement of hospital and community pharmacy services, and involvement of pharmacists during the COVID-19 pandemic. Just a little introduction about the background of healthcare system in Sri Lanka. Mainly, healthcare system continue to be dominated by the government sector, and we cannot undermine the contribution from the private sector even. And Sri Lanka provides a free healthcare service via the government healthcare facilities, and private healthcare facilities charge for their service, and all these services are monitored by the Ministry of Health. This is just a brief introduction for the organizational structure. I'm not going into detail, but I want to express that pharmacists are involved in all these institutions: Medical Supplies Division, National Medicines Regulatory Authority, National Medicines Quality Assurance, and State Pharmaceutical Corporation, which involved in procurement of medications. Just going into detail, in Sri Lanka, there are approximately 1,500 hospitals with 77,000 beds by 2020 data, and they are in government sector, and it is supported by another 150 private sector hospitals. In all these hospitals, they consist hospital pharmacy and headed and functioned by pharmacists. Approximately, there are about 1,500 registered pharmacists in the country, and there are different levels. Some are certificate, some are diploma pharmacists, and there are now graduate pharmacists also. All of them work in different fields and institutions, providing quality pharmaceutical care and expressing the objectives of their profession. In delivery of trustful pharmaceutical care, pharmacists involved in ministry level, Medicines Regulatory Authority, State Pharmaceutical Corporation, Medical Council, and Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, as well as in university academy. I will just explain involvement of pharmacies in these organizations. National Medicine Regulatory Authority is an independent authority in Ministry of Health. Pharmacists play a leading role in protecting, providing, and improving public health by ensuring medicinal products available in the country meet the applicable standards of safety, quality, and efficacy. Pharmacists involved in regulation of medicines, medical devices, borderline products, clinical trials, and cosmetics. National Medicines Quality Assurance Lab, again, there is a huge involvement in quality assurance of medicines, and it is under the purview of NMRA. State Pharmaceuticals Corporation, where pharmacists play a great role in purchasing of pharmaceutical products and other healthcare items. Also, pharmacists are involved in State Pharmaceuticals Corporation in importing and trading pharmaceuticals across the country. Medical Supplies Division, where pharmacists involved in distribution of medicines. In all the healthcare facilities, the receipt of all the pharmaceuticals via Medical Supplies Division of Sri Lanka and pharmacists involved in ordering of medications and also distribution of medications, all the live ministry health institutions as well as provincial health institutions. So providing that background, I will move to pharmacists' role in providing pharmaceutical care in Sri Lanka. As I explained previously, they involve in hospital and community pharmacy services, industry and manufacture of pharmaceuticals, regulation and quality control, administrative positions related to pharmacy, and academic and research work. Let's see hospital and community pharmacy services provided by pharmacy. Hospital and community pharmacy are the most important in developing public relationships, and that is the first point of contact with the public. So it helped to develop positive relationships. All the hospitals across Sri Lanka, they consist hospital pharmacy and headed by pharmacists, and they ensure medicine supply in patients and outpatients. The community pharmacy service, most of the community pharmacies are private sector, and there are few State Pharmaceutical Corporation managed Osusala community pharmacies. In all these places, community pharmacy involvement is at the maximum. So they are involved in filling the prescriptions and providing counseling to patients. In addition, most of the private sector patients fill their prescriptions by the community pharmacies, And also they have given the opportunity to government sector prescriptions to fill at the community pharmacies. So community pharmacies are the first and easy point of contact for the public in Sri Lanka. I will move to discuss the efforts of the pharmacists done in providing continuous supply of medication during the COVID-19 pandemic. Both the hospital and community pharmacy services continued supply of medicines to patients in the pandemic crisis. As most of the speakers discussed, without even thinking of their lives, putting their self in risk, they came forward as first-line healthcare professionals to provide the service during the pandemic. So even in the first wave of COVID-19 pandemic in Sri Lanka, with the sudden lockdown and travel restrictions, majority of the patients, especially with chronic diseases, they were unable to fill their prescriptions due to the travel restrictions. So it is tremendous, the involvement of hospital pharmacies in this crisis. So what the community hospital pharmacists did, they filled the prescriptions according to the clinic records available in the hospital setup and took their steps to deliver the medications to the doorsteps of the patients via the postal department. This is not there were some places where even the postal department didn't work. In that situation, they have dedicated, hospital pharmacists have dedicated their service and took the steps to deliver medications even to the residences of the patients. So I would like to appreciate actually the hospital pharmacy service extended during the COVID-19 pandemic to provide a consistent and continuous pharmacy care. The service of community pharmacies also tremendous, and still even the countries in a lockdown period, and community pharmacies even in this risk period, they are open for long hours. Even in the lockdown period, they provided their valuable service, supplying their continuous medication need for the patients via online platforms, WhatsApp, Viber. And after packing the medications, they delivered the medications to their doorstep. So this was very important since the first wave of COVID, mainly for the chronic patients with chronic illnesses. So always they assured efficient and safe supply, taking online orders and delivering medications to the doorsteps. Even today, in this lockdown period, there are approximately 2,000 community pharmacies who work continuously to supply medications to patients, and also all the names are published in the Ministry of Health website. The whole world is discussing and focusing about the vaccination process. It's strengthening the vaccination process in Sri Lanka. Involvement of pharmacists is a huge. From the point of legal authorization at the National Medicines Regulatory Authority to the delivery point of the vaccines to the patients, pharmacists continuously and tirelessly worked to reach the vaccines to the community. The role of pharmacists in manufacturing field. Sri Lanka State Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Corporation is the only state sector corporation involved in manufacturing of pharmaceuticals in Sri Lanka, and approximately 72 products in different pharmacological categories they manufacture. In all the departments of this corporation, pharmacists ensure the quality of the medications according to British and US pharmacopoeias, conforming with the good manufacturing practice requirements. So they are responsible in this manufacturing process, providing quality pharmaceuticals. Pharmacist's role is more expanded in, will be expanded in near future, because now the government has focused and decided to expand the capacity of manufacturing, and new pharmaceutical manufacturing zones are to be established in near future. So it will provide many job opportunities for pharmacists in near future in the industry field. Are we ready to meet the need of pharmacists in the country? Competency and expertise is a major need to build a trustful pharmaceutical care. Therefore, education is very important in building competent and expertise pharmacists. Before 2000, there were only diploma and certificate pharmacists in Sri Lanka. It's really happy to say, during past 20 years, pharmacy education of Sri Lanka has developed massively, and today there are 7 universities who offer degrees, Bachelor of Pharmacy and Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy, providing graduates for the field. This is a major improvement in the field of pharmacy in Sri Lanka, and approximately 2,250 pharmacists produce gradually for the field, ensuring the quality and trustful service. Not only that, they have given the opportunity for the pharmacists to upgrade their knowledge, and they have given lateral entry pathways to obtain degree levels. Further, universities have provided postgraduate opportunities, maybe MScs, PhDs, and MPhils related to pharmacy fields. All the universities in Sri Lanka provide postgraduate opportunities. And also now we can see there are a lot of academics who have obtained these education qualifications and joined with the university sector with foreign or local postgraduate qualifications. Lifelong learning is a must for a pharmacist. Therefore, continuous pharmacy education is mandatory. Universities in Sri Lanka, together with Ministry of Health and also with the contribution of Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, they continuously organize education programs, workshops, courses, research conferences to upgrade the knowledge of pharmacists. In providing a consistent service throughout the country, hospital and community pharmacies work 24/7 during this pandemic. And even during this pandemic, pharmacy education is continued with the intention of providing future need of pharmacists maybe in the next year. Also, drug importation and drug manufacturing services are continued even without making any disruptions during the pandemic situation. Therefore, pharmacy services are continued their service. There are areas that should be developed in Sri Lanka, especially clinical pharmacy service. Now, the government and the universities are targeting this goal, and it's necessary to increase undergraduate and postgraduate opportunities, and also continuous professional development opportunities should be enhanced. In conclusion, I would like to say Sri Lanka in a fast phase of development with regard to pharmacy field. Pharmacy services are able to build the trust among the public, providing quality and consistent services, ensuring positive relationships. However, we have to focus on establishing clinical pharmacy services and more graduate and postgraduate opportunities. I'm sure pharmacists in Sri Lanka will get more recognition locally and foreign in future. I'm coming to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, organizers and the Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, for giving me this opportunity. I wish you all again a happy World Pharmacist Day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your presence here on this platform as we all celebrate this World Pharmacist Day. And we are also thank you for the informative that you have given regarding the approach of pharmaceutical industry and also the community level in your country, that is Sri Lanka. And we'll move forward. And now I would like to request Dr. Mahendra Patel if he can share some of his views on this occasion with all of us. A brief talk by you, sir, if you are. So can you unmute and then?
It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to be with you and celebrate even 2 minutes of my sharing experiences on this World Pharmacist Day celebrations with you. First to say congratulations on a super webinar, excellent speakers, lovely to hear various angles from the Southeast Asian subcontinent as well as what we do in India. And hats off to everybody at the IPA and the team and the education department and to the Student Forum, which, as you know, I'm a very big supporter of as well. I think one of the things that I would like to say, I don't know if I can share my screen. Is it possible to share my screen? Because I'll just perhaps...
yes, sir.
I don't know if it will come. Is it possible to share that? I don't know. Is it sharing?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah, are you seeing the slide, this one?
Yes, sir. Findings and impact COVID-19 therapeutic.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I'd just like to show this. I just thought very quickly it'd be good to share this with you. And this is something because we've already talked about antimicrobial resistance and the work we've done with this IPSA Student Forum with Pregna Madam and the team there as well, and the institutions in India, which we've been promoting here in the UK as well with Antibiotic Guardians. And as you know, we've been very successful with that program. So this is something that I'm now working on as a pharmacy and research lead for the University of Oxford for the principal trial, which is looking at drug treatment in the community. You know, we have vaccines. Vaccines only prevent you from getting COVID-19 symptoms. But this has broken news worldwide now. And the reason why I want to share this with you is partly because of this. So this, as you can see on the bottom left-hand corner, I only presented this at the Indian Embassy on Wednesday at the UK Indian conference. The findings from the principal trial, which is looking at COVID-19 treatment in the community. So this is to stop and reduce hospitalization and prevent deaths, is the fact that we've seen azithromycin and doxycycline. The principal trial is the world's largest clinical trial in the community for COVID-19, and it is the most successful. And we're continuing to build on it. And obviously I want to bring in India and the partners and even Sri Lanka as to how we can share some of that wider as well, really, in terms of developing the research, which I'm in discussion with the Indian Embassy here and colleagues last week at the presentation. Azithromycin and doxycycline on this phase 3 study has clearly shown that using that for COVID-19 symptoms primarily has no benefit compared to standard care. And that has now become policy within AIMS ICMR, as you can see on the bottom left-hand corner, as practice and finding. So it's changing. What we found here is changing practice and policy internationally. It's also become practice within British Columbia, in Canada, and in other countries, looking at how antibiotics in initial early use for the primary treatment of COVID-19 symptoms have no benefit. And that helps in our antimicrobial resistance agenda, which, as you know, our IPSA Student Forum has been working very, very actively with and promoting, and will continue once the pandemic allows us for me to come back to India and start working with our colleges and institutions and through the IPSF, which I want to continue doing. The other finding is and this is obviously become from the Department of Health here, that is a COVID drug therapeutic alert, is the fact that using budesonide inhaler, and the principal trial is not using any new drugs, it's repurposing existing drugs. And the budesonide inhaler, for people who may, colleagues will know, is used for treatment of COPD and asthma, and it's readily available. And by prescribing budesonide inhaler for those with underlying conditions and those 50 and over, it actually reduces the recovery time by a median of 3 days. And not only does the recovery time reduce, but people remain better for a period of 28 days when they're followed up. We're also looking at these patients now from a long COVID perspective, so following them up from 3 months and 6 months. We are now just bringing on this practice into looking at, this is a platform trial, so it's not just one study, one drug that we look at. Once we've found the evidence, which is independently assessed, to then share that we can move on and look at other drugs and get them approved through ethics, the UK MHRA ethics, to try again, really. And we're now looking at ivermectin and favipiravir, the antiviral, on a phase 3 study in terms of how effective they are. So I would just like to say, And you can see on the bottom right-hand corner, our Britain's most influential Hindu temple, spreading the awareness of the trial. That became the top news item at the University of Oxford, which is the world's renowned university and global leaders in terms of clinical research. So I want you to, I want India to join and share, and how can I bring you to the party? I want to continue doing that. But also to say congratulations, hats off to you all for the wonderful work you're doing. And as you know, I am a real advocate and supporter of IPA and everything that the IPA does as well. So thank you all, and have a very wonderful World Pharmacist Day today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your insights. And we are really happy to have you with you here. And thank you for sharing this valuable information. And as you said, we are eagerly waiting for you to come back here so that we can start working on this once again, sir. And let us move ahead. Now, very briefly, now I request Dr. Mujibuddin, MD Clinisol Private Limited, to please introduce about the IPA placement conclave.
Thank you. I'll not take much time. Probably I'll quickly complete the activities very quickly. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Okay. So I'm happy to be part of this conference. So many good sessions back to back. And I'll be focused more about IPA placement portal, which has been recently launched. And we had very good output from this recent launch. So to summarize very quickly, we have got number of companies, MOUs. We got more than 50 companies for IPA for getting placed for the students. Number of openings from January to till now, we have got 400 plus. Number of jobs we have placed the students is 300 plus, and number of applications we have received from BPharms, SEARPharms, and PharmDs were 2000 plus. And number of internships which we have sent for the companies is 100 plus. And we were able to focus on BPharm, MPharm, and PharmD. And we have received so many HR feedbacks from different companies about the IPA placement portal. So to summarize more about IPA placement portal, so we have came up to bridge a gap between education institutions for pharmacy and also the companies. So this portal will make sure that a company can come and put their openings directly into here. So where they can click on recruiters and they can post their job openings. And we will be posting this jobs to all colleges through IPA. And students directly can go and apply on this jobs. So they can go and apply here directly. If they are members of IPA, they will say that yes. And they will be asked what is a IPA membership number. If we enter IPA membership, remaining all fields will be auto-populated, and we can complete the rest of form. So now once we have proceeded for next activities, so we have the following tabs where we will be asking for education, skills, preference for the job, and references what you have, and uploads including Aadhaar card or a photo or a resume. So all these details will be collected in form of Excel sheet, and we will be filtering this as per the company requirements, what location they want, what profiles they want, what is the candidate requirement, what is the company requirement. We will be bridging a gap on that, and we will be sending the right profiles to the company so that company saves the time and the right candidates are getting placed into it. And even we can put the job openings, we will be putting the job openings like CRCs or medical writers, whatever job we have, we'll be putting job openings here, and directly candidate can click on this. It leads to apply now, and then from apply now, the same process can be done. And we have placed a placement drive also where companies, if they wanted to have a placement drive, they can come and they can post it here, or they can send it to us. We can post in this portal. And we have given one more tab, which is the company's MOU with IPA. What are the different MOUs we have, which we have posted. So we have posted this also. So I'm happy to share that the COVID has given a lot of changes to us, and we have got so many virtual jobs, work from home jobs, and we have crossed nearly 300 plus jobs as of now. We are counting more jobs once this pandemic is ended. We will be expecting more jobs, and we will be expecting more MOUs, and we will be expecting more candidate profiles on the portal. Candidates can directly upload their profiles here. Companies can directly post their openings here. And we will be bridging a gap between the companies regarding the openings, and the right candidates will be delivered to the companies. So I think this is the summary of IPA placement portal, which I wanted to share with you. Because lack of time, I would like to thank all the organizers for calling me and giving me this opportunity to talk about IPA placement portal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And very happy to hear that the placement portal is doing exceptionally good. Thank you once again. So we almost came to the end of this webinar. And now I would like to request Dr. S. Vidyadhara, who is the chairman of IPA Education Division, chairman of Board of Studies, Acharya Nagarjuna University, professor and principal of Chebrul Hanma Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, to please give the closing note.
Thank you, Dr. Raghav Kalyan. Very good afternoon to all. Warm wishes to the elite pharma fraternity that is present here, as we are proudly celebrating the World Pharmacist Day. So it gives me immense pleasure to convene such a great workshop with the presence of several allied people from SEARPharm Forum, from Sri Lanka, Indonesia, UK, and several other countries. It is really a great time for us to celebrate World Pharmacist Day on this auspicious occasion. It is an absolute honor for me to be associated with all the esteemed personalities from all over the globe that are present here along with us. And I once again wish you a very happy World Pharmacist Day. The primary objective of celebrating World Pharmacist Day is to improve the overall health services for patients through the effective usage of therapeutic products, and also to highlight the importance of pharmacies in the medical team. Many people, along with students, may wonder why Pharmacist Day is celebrated on only September 25th. The International Pharmaceutical Federation, which is popularly known as FIP, which is a global body representing pharmacy, pharmaceutical sciences, and pharmaceutical education, came into existence on 25th September 1912. FIP is a non-governmental organization, and it is recognized as a leader of pharmacy at the global level. The FIP Council in Istanbul, Turkey, in 2009 suggested to observe the Pharmacist Day on September 25th because on this day FIP came into existence. Hence, we celebrate World Pharmacist Day on 25th September every year for the past 11 years. Since then, we are seeing the pharmacy professionals celebrating its existence by carrying out a number of awareness activities and highlighting the role of pharmacist as a healthcare professional. It was very well evident during the last 1 year where the services offered by pharmacists at various levels like industry, analytical, community, and hospital had a significant impact on fighting the deadly pandemic. This is enough that we proved that the impact of pharmacists in healthcare and proves our role as a frontline warrior. I am proud to mention this on this webinar as well, celebrate the World Pharmacist Day. On this today's August occasion, today we have eminent personalities across the globe, and our today's chief guest is Dr. Manisha Sridhar, who is a WHO Zero Regional Advisor, World Health Organization, representing from India. And today's chief guest, I am thankful to you, madam, for providing new origins for the pharmacies to explore, and this will be definitely elevate the standards of our pharmacies. You have really given a good insight about the pharmacist and their role for the present healthcare on the WHO platform. Thank you, madam, for your valuable presence. And also, today we have with us our IPA counterpart, Dr. Manjari Garat, madam. Thank you, madam. Thanks for you providing all of us with great examples of pharmacist-patient relationship and the importance of community pharmacy in India and how our Indian community pharmacy is elevating and recognizing with their services. And also, today we have another eminent speaker. She is Mrs. Yulia Trishna. Madam, thank you for providing insights regarding the hospital pharmacy and our pharmacy services at the hospital level in Indonesia. It has broadened our vision of a good hospital pharmacy services which are being given at Indonesia. Thank you, ma'am. And we are also having another elite personality from Sri Lanka, Dr. Sevandi Subhasinghe. We are very much thankful to you, madam, for your participation today and bringing insights about the Sri Lanka perspective of pharmacy and its organization at hospital as well as community level. And also you have thrown light about the education scenario at Sri Lanka. Apart from that, we are very much delighted to have Mahendra Patil sir with us from United Kingdom, and he has given about the importance of principal trials which are being originated from Indian mass community, as well as he has created awareness about the antibiotic resistance and its stewardship to be taken by the pharmacists. Apart from this, during the part of webinar, this institution also has organized several competitions to the student community. So we have organized 3 student level competitions. One is essay writing competition, another one is e-pamphlet making about the today's World Pharmacist Day theme, that is pharmacy always trusted for your health. And also we have given a competition on video making by our student pharmacists. So as part of that, a total of 90 entries for essay writing and 80 entries for pamphlet making and 15 entries for video making were received from all over the globe. For pamphlet making and essay writing competitions, the organizing committee has decided to give 3 prizes, that is first, second, third. And whereas for the video making competition, the organizers have decided to give 2 prizes for the best video making winners. Anyway, now Dr. Rao sir is going to announce who are the winners for these competitions. I always feel that all the participants are indeed considered as winners for their efforts and hard work, and it only a matter of time that we are awarded or not. With this brief note, I thank all the members here on this platform for making this webinar a grand event and a very memorable one for all of us. I once again thank you. Thank you for everyone for your valuable presence on this August occasion. And once again, I thank and also greet each and every pharmacist a Pharmacist Day on this occasion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your closing remarks. Now, as Dr. S. Vidyadhara already said, there were competitions that are being conducted for students in different aspects like essay writing, video making, and also pamphlet making. Now, it's the time to announce the winners of those events. We have received a good number of entries from different parts of the country and also outside the country. So it was not an easy task to adjudicate them, but to our best knowledge, we somehow tried. And as Dr. S. Vidyadhara already said, all the participants who had put in a lot of effort will always be considered as winners. And it's only during the time period in which whether we are being awarded or not. So first of all, I wholeheartedly congratulate all the participants who took time and participated in this event and showcased their talents. A very big congratulations to all the participants. Now I would like to request Dr. Rao Wadlamudi to please announce the winners of these respective events.
Okay, thank you very much. Hope you all can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So there are 3 competitions held, and I am first announcing the winners of the essay writing competition. In this, the 3rd best prize goes to Durgesh Bidye of Government Goa College of Pharmacy. So Durgesh, if he is logged in, he can, try to take electronically the certificate. Otherwise, I'll move on to the 2nd best prize. It goes to Naga Kavya Chalamalapalli of the Chebrolu Hanumaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences. And in this category of essay writing competition, the first prize goes to Utatra Vijayasundara of University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka. Congratulations all the winners, and the distribution of prizes, actually makes the competition international. The second competition is pamphlet making competition, and in which the 3rd prize goes to Chebrolu Hanumaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences to Mr. Kondeti Venkata Surya Sivakumar. Congratulations. And the 2nd prize goes to General Sir John Kotelawala Defence University, Sri Lanka, to Mepe Gamage Lakmas Situmini Das. It's a little long name, so Miss Das. Congratulations. If I haven't pronounced your name properly, my apologies. And the first prize goes to MM College of Pharmacy to K. Laltanpui. MM College of Pharmacy, where the location is not clearly indicated. The first prize goes to it's Ambala, Haryana. Okay.
It is
Wonderful.
Ambala, Haryana, sir.
Yeah. So it's not in the list that you provided me. So.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. No problem. And once again, congratulations to all the winners. Here again, the competition is international. The last competition is video making competition, for which there are 2 prizes awarded. The 2nd prize goes to Chebrolu Hanumaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences to a team of Deepthi, Nikhila, Sirisha, Ayesha Begum, and Nikita. Congratulations, all of you. I would love to see what video you have made. So I hope Dr. Vidyadhara will send me. And the first prize of the video making competition goes to University of Jaffna, Sri Lanka again, and by a team of Akila, Shirina, and Ajita. Congratulations, winners. It's wonderful. It's heartening to see the SEARPharm Forum on this day. The SEARPharm Forum organized this, webinar in which Dr. Vidyadhara of IPA has taken the lead to conduct 3 competitions, of which the prizes have gone distributed to, SEARPharm countries, which makes the competition international. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Vidyadhara, for this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. With this, we came to the end of this webinar. And to do the honors, our request Dr. G. Sumalata ma'am to please propose the vote of thanks.
Sumalata, can you unmute?
I can't see her. Is she there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. She's there.
Probably she doesn't want to talk to me.
Sumalata, unmute.
No, not at all, sir. My pleasure. Yeah, good noon, one and all. I deem it's a great honor and privilege to propose my vote of thanks on this historical occasion with a perfect blend of eminent personalities who thrives for education and enrichment of pharmacy field. On this prestigious and renowned day, I take the opportunity to thank all the pharmacists who have been at the forefront of the COVID-19 pandemic in rendering services in current scenario. COVID-19 made the society to realize that pharmacies are pillars of the strength where people can always lean on them. The lessons taught from COVID-19 priorities the importance of pharmacists in serving the nation. I feel privileged to express my deep sense of gratitude and honor to the exceptional personality, Dr. T.V. Narayana sir, who is the president of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, who always turn risk into opportunity, weakness into strength, loss into profit with his hard work and talent. Thank you, sir, for providing this opportunity on this World Pharmacist Day. Passion is energy. Feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you, actually. Dr. Rao sir is an example for this kind of statement. He is the one who is always passionate towards pharmacy profession. Thank you, sir, for your introductory note. I have been fortunate enough to thank our today's program chief guest, Dr. Manisha Sridhar, WHO CRO Regional Advisor, for her proficient sense of highly sparkling words towards the pharmacists. Congratulations, ma'am, from leading nations to standing up for running the world's most important organization, and thank you for your willingness in participating in our program. Leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lies in your absence. She is an example for such kind of leadership. I thank Dr. Manjari, ma'am, Chairperson Community Pharmacy Division, for her talk in this occasion. Ms. Yulia Trishna, who is a Vice President, FIP Hospital Pharmacy Section and also CRO, she always set her own limits and clearly articulate them. This always takes a courage, but also liberates empowerment and new respect from others. So thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful talk in this occasion. And next, coming to Dr. Sevadi, ma'am. So you are never too small to make a difference. Thank you, ma'am, for your an excellent talk. Congratulations, Dr. Vidyadhara, sir. Once again, you have proven that you are excellent in taking high level of responsibilities, and thank you for inspiring all of us in so many ways. My special thanks to Dr. Mahendra Patel, sir, from UK. Thank you for your short message and very informative message. I extend my heartfelt thanks to Mujibuddin, Dr. Raghav Kalyan, Dr. Sindhu Vaishnavi, Dr. Sandeep, Dr. Sashidhar, Ms. Pragna, Dr. Haribabu, Dr. Ramalingam for their continuous support. And I congratulate the whole team of Indian Pharmaceutical Association, SEARPharm Forum, Chebrolu Hanumaya Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Pharmaceutical Society of Sri Lanka, Ikatan Apothekan Indonesia for their tremendous support for the event to happen today. With this short note on greater expertise of this program, I thank each and every person behind the scene for the program to happen today. Thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity.
Thank
Over
you.
to Kalyan.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So I request everybody to rise as we end this program with a national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा
Thank you, Manisha ma'am.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Mahendra sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Mahendra bhai.
Thank you.
Great to see you here.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Samlata. Thank you, Pragna. Thank you, Muzi.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Rao
Thank you,
sir.
Vidyadhara. Mujib, I could not recognize you. You changed your face.
Thank you, sir.
Now, sir, good
Okay.
afternoon.
Bye, sir. Bye, sir.
Hi. Bye. You could not see me. You
Yes.
could not see me because when they asked me to stand up, I couldn't stand up. Because I'm working from home, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, guys.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Take
Bye,
care.
sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you.
Love you all. Wonderful program.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Prajna.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Okay. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. I have another program I need to leave.
Okay, sir.